Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're venturing into a really unsettling place. It's that corner of the internet many find mysterious, maybe even frightening, the deep web. You know, there's this fear around it, people worrying about stumbling onto something really disturbing, or maybe worse, getting accidentally caught up in illegal stuff. Now, look, we're not going to get bogged down in the technical details of how it all works today. Instead, our mission is really just to tell three unnerving truth stories. And these aren't myths, not exaggerations. These are real encounters shared by someone who actually explored those hidden depths. So for you, our listener, especially if you follow horror and true crime, we just want to share these stories to help you maybe grasp the kinds of dark realities some people face or discover online. Think of them as, I guess, unsettling reports from a totally different internet world.
Indeed. And these stories, they really do offer a raw look, a glimpse into some profound darkness that can exist out there. It's a reminder, really, of a world operating far beyond what most of us see online. It shows you layers of human nature, maybe, and what anonymity can let loose.
Okay, let's get into the first story. It starts with a pretty disturbing discovery. Our explorer, they found this site on the deep web. It had this sort of cryptic name like Acid Core Splash and then a string of numbers, 76439 or something like that. The first page, the cover page, was apparently really crude, rough logo, and this tagline that just chills you. Because ugly on the inside should mean ugly on the outside.
Wow, that's blunt.
Yeah, but here's where it gets even weirder, maybe more chilling. Clicking that logo didn't lead to more rough pages. It went to this surprisingly well laid out site, professional looking almost, for the deep web anyway.
Right, the standards are probably different there.
Exactly. And it's aboutception. It was completely upfront about its purpose, horrifyingly so. It basically said it was a service for people with a burning desire for revenge. And for a price, users could actually pick a target for an acid attack, the goal, ruining their lives forever. And disturbingly, the site kept using the word justice, trying to twist what they were doing into some kind of sick, moral justification.
That rationalization makes it even worse somehow.
It really does. The business model was just as awful. Every attack they carried out was recorded meticulously. And these videos, they were uploaded to the site for other users, people who paid a membership fee, usually in Bitcoin.
The anonymity of crypto? Makes sense.
Right. And at the bottom of the page, they had sample videos for potential customers, I guess, or just watchers. Each sample had this chilling title format, a person's first name, then Splash, like Cindy Splash, even, and there'd be a description thanking a username for their service. The videos themselves, they followed this really disturbing pattern. First, you'd see footage of the victim being stalked, filmed from hidden spots, totally unaware.
Just living their lives.
Yeah, just everyday stuff. Shopping, meeting friends, walking to work. Innocent routines, but filmed for this awful purpose. Then suddenly it cuts to an empty apartment. Looks sterile. And the camera focuses on gloved hands preparing a beaker of, what you have to assume is acid. Hydrochloric, sulfuric, something terrible.
Premeditation is just starting.
And then the final part. It shows the victim again, from a distance this time. The cameraman approaches, waits until they're alone, vulnerable. The camera gets really close, uncomfortably close. Captures the shock on their face as the attacker yells something, apparently in a language the explorer didn't recognize. And then it happens. The acid is thrown right in their face.
Okay.
Their screams, just raw agony. You could hear them clearly as the attacker just runs off. But the camera stays for a moment, lingers on the victim clutching their face, the acid burning, before the attacker finally flees.
The consequences of these attacks are just horrific. I mean, complete facial destruction, terrible burns, lifelong scars, potential blindness, even if they get help right away. But the act of filming it all, the stalking, the prep, and especially that raw agony, it's beyond just violence. It's calculated sadism. It's designed to maximize suffering, physical and mental, and then unbelievably let others watch it, share in it. It's monetizing cruelty. It's hard to wrap your head around.
And it gets darker. The site's About section, it said the full videos, the ones for members, they focused even more on the stalking, sometimes over an hour long.
An hour.
Yeah. The stated goal was, and this is sick, for viewers to get really into the lives of the victims before they were ruined forever. Also, these videos seem to come from different countries, which suggests either a global network, lots of travel, or maybe using freelance criminals.
A whole infrastructure for this horror.
And almost all the victims, except for one they saw, were women. It just makes you wonder, what kind of person pays for this? Is it some kind of twisted sexual thing? Just a love of watching suffering? Or, like you said, maybe some mix of sadistic fantasies amplified by the anonymity?
It's a tough question. But, there's this uncomfortable fascination humans sometimes have with extreme suffering. Think about like why people slow down for car crashes or watch those graphic videos online. We condemn it, obviously, but there's this morbid curiosity. It's hard to look away sometimes. The deep web just provides this raw, unfiltered space for the absolute extremes of that impulse.
Yeah.
People can indulge these dark thoughts without the usual consequences.
That's a really disturbing thought, connecting it like that. Okay, let's shift gears. From that organized awfulness of acid splash to something completely different, but maybe even creepier in its own way. This site was just called The Waiting Room. And the site itself was incredibly basic. Just a constant live feed, grainy, black and white from a high angle like CCTV. The room, you couldn't really tell much about it. It looked like maybe a basement or an old hospital room. Very bare. So our explorer first found this site about a year before sharing the story. And on that first visit, there was a man on the table, tightly strapped down, gagged, blindfolded. The feed wasn't great quality, but you could definitely see his chest moving, breathing, his head wiggled a bit. He was alive.
Strapped to a table.
Yeah, and hooked up to an IV drip. And in the top right corner, there was a number, 104. Now, the first thought was, okay, this has to be fake, a prank, maybe a looped video, something like that.
Understandable assumption.
Right. But then came the moment that changed everything. 2 days later, they went back to the site. The number in the corner. It wasn't 104 anymore, it was 106.
Oh, wow.
And the IV strip, it looked like it had been shifted slightly. The man's head was moving a bit more. The longer they watched, the clearer it became. This wasn't looped, it was live.
So someone had been there.
Exactly. Someone had come in, changed the drip, kept him alive, just tied down, blind, gagged, a prisoner, live on camera.
The horror there is just the helplessness, continuous suffering kept alive, but for what purpose?
Yeah.
Can't help but think of, trafficking or some kind of unimaginable long-term torture. It's not just being trapped physically, it's being robbed of all control, all senses, just existing as a spectacle. It's profoundly disturbing.
And it didn't stop there. The Explorer checked again 3 months later.
The site was still up.
Still up, stream still running, but it was a different person on the table. A woman this time.
No.
Yeah. The number indicated she'd been there maybe a couple weeks, and apparently she was struggling more, wriggling, still fighting it. And maybe the creepiest part, there was text at the top of the site from the creator expressing a hope to expand and have multiple streams running at the same time.
Expand, like more tables, more people.
Seems like it, and they weren't even charging to watch this. It was just available, a window into this ongoing nightmare, free for anyone who stumbled upon it.
Psychologically, that's just exquisite torture. Sensory deprivation alone can break a person's mind pretty quickly. Being aware you're captive, but having no idea why or for how long, unable to see or hear properly. It's a unique kind of hell. Knowing places like this might actually exist where people are just trapped, suffering, unable to escape or even understand, it forces you to confront the absolute worst possibilities of human cruelty.
Yeah. It definitely makes you take a step back, appreciate your own freedom, Makes you realize how lucky we are.
Absolutely.
Okay, our third story. This one starts out almost mundane, if you can say that, about exploring the deep web. It involves a group of friends, 18-year-old guys in the Netherlands. They were drinking, and one of them, Eric, had already downloaded Tor.
The browser for accessing the deep web.
Right, so he suggests they have some fun exploring. They started with the usual stuff people talk about, the common sites, but then they decided to go, as they put it, off-road. Start searching for more obscure things. Found sites selling drugs, those fake hitman services you hear about, and even one where you could, anonymously mail someone a box of actual feces. Which, being drunk teenagers.
Was sounding hilarious.
Yeah. But then they found something that actually struck them as weird, even for the deep web. A Dutch site selling normal animals, cats and dogs.
That is weird for the deep web. Why the need for anonymity?
Exactly their thought. So just as they were about to leave the site, a chat box popped up. And, still drunk, still messing around, they decided to engage. They typed in English, apparently common in the Netherlands, something crude, like an innuendo, asking if he could send a bunch of bitches around to my place, ASAP. Yeah. The guy on the other end just told them to stop wasting his time, clearly wasn't amused. So they switched tactics, asked a genuine question. Why are you selling cats and dogs on the deep web? And the answer they got back was unsettling and surprising. He told them straight up, all the pets on his site were stolen. stolen from owners, then resold for profit.
Stolen pets.
Yeah. He described how thieves would watch for dogs let out into yards, especially expensive designer breeds, snatch them and sell them cheap online. Said he also stole cats, found them easier, actually, because people don't watch them as closely, claimed it was surprisingly lucrative. High demand for those breeds.
That's awful. People's pets.
Right. So what do? Still drunk, remember? They start calling him an asshole in the chat. He fires back, calls them pussies, says they wouldn't say it to his face. Standard internet tough guy stuff, maybe. But then Eric types something more specific, says that the guy had pets himself, he'd know how messed up it was, and that he, Eric, would fuck up anyone he caught trying to steal his cat.
Okay, that's getting personal.
Yeah, and there's this pause from the other guy. Then he just types back, okay, I'm coming to get it and you won't catch me.
Whoa.
The friends just blew it off. A bluff, right? What are the odds this random deep web dude lives nearby? Or would actually do anything? They kept insulting him for a bit until he just went silent.
But that's the danger, isn't it? Especially online and especially on the deep web. Anonymity feels absolute, but it isn't always. IP addresses can sometimes be traced through mistakes or exploits. That line between online talk and real-world threat, it can blur really fast, making threats, even jokingly, getting personal. It opens doors you really don't want opened. Anonymity makes people bold, maybe bolder than they should be.
Yeah.
And the results.
Yeah, the results. About a week later, Eric calls his friends, and he sounds completely terrified. His family cat, Cubus, hadn't come home the night before. His mom just thought, okay, cat stayed out all night, happens sometimes. But the next morning, she opens the front door, and Cubus is there on the doorstep.
Oh, no.
Almost completely skinned. Yeah. The only reason they knew it was Cubus, apparently, was because the skin and fur on the tail were left. Deliberately.
Yeah.
For identification.
That's monstrous. Targeted.
Horrifyingly clear, right? That deep web user. He must have traced Eric's IP, found his house, identified the cat, and then did that. You just don't know if the guy lived close by and watched, or if he actually hired someone. Either way is terrifying. Eric's final word on it was just filled with regret. He said, "We didn't fully realize who we were messing with. Sorry, Cubus. Chillin'."
What these three stories really hammer home, I think, it isn't just that bad stuff exists online. It's how that feeling of being anonymous, being hidden, can really embolden people. It lets them commit or even just watch and approve of these extreme acts. Sometimes, like in that last story, with terrifyingly real consequences in the physical world. It makes you ask big questions about, psychology in these spaces, about accountability, and just how vulnerable we can be when we explore these hidden corners. The cost of curiosity can be unexpectedly high.
We've definitely heard 3 incredibly unsettling stories today. Real glimpses into disturbing things happening on the deep web. From organized crime setting up shop for horrific violence to those live feeds of just human suffering, and then the really frightening personal results of an online spat getting way too real. These aren't just campfire tales. They're looks into a darker side of humanity and what technology enables. Thank you for joining us on this movie. Well, this unsettling journey today, we really hope you'll take some time to think about the stories we shared. And if these tales did resonate with you, please do make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs. We'll have more chilling narratives for you soon.